Thank you very much, everyone, for joining this webinar. I really appreciate your efforts and time. So today I am going to show you how TOS works. So before I start the webinar, let me introduce myself. Nirav Darji. I am the project manager from Transurf Technologies. I have been with Transurf for almost 2 years. And with Transurf, we have served so many different industries. Say, for example, asset management, for spatial integration, some revenue augmentation, vehicle tracking, and for property tax deployments, we have done so much of work using our TOS platform. Before I start, I just request all the attendees to keep your audio on mute and video on, just turn off the video. If you have any questions, please do let us know in the chat space. Our moderator will definitely answer your question within no time. If you have any other comments, if any kind of a suggestion, please let us know on feedback@transurf.com. Coming back to the points, today's webinar would be how to create layers, how to use edit tools on Transurf Online Stack, how to use some advanced tools, say for example, center of mass, Voronoi, convex, buffer, simplify to cluster k-means, square grid. Post that, I'm going to also show you the capacity of our platform where you can publish map services which is compatible with your desktop GIS application. Meanwhile, you can also sign up with our platform on online.transurf.com. Our mobile application is also available on Apple Store and Android Store. So let's directly jump on to the tools on the application, how you can create layers and how to edit them. When I say edit them, means how to give them the attributes. So when you just log in with your with the web portal online.transurf.com, the landing page will come up like this. You have to sign up yourself. You have to use your secondary email to sign up. So it will generate an OTP code, and on the basis of that, you can sign in. So I have pre-filled my email ID and my password. So as many of us are from GIS background and serving in geospatial industry, I would like to repeat for those who are new to this webinar, those who have not attended the webinar last time. So this is a kind of the second landing page where you can see the user statistics. So as per the subscription plan, you have a space of 20 GB. You can see on my screen, I have around 500 plus vector layers I have added, around 20 plus raster layers I've already imported on the platform. I've also created some forms, around 50 plus. These forms are used for the field survey. So more or less, I have used almost almost full of my space, which I have. Post that, you could also see on my right hand side that web map services and web feature services. This particular services we have also explained in the last webinar that this services can be used to present the data to your client. Say for example, web map services, you can use it as a base map, or web feature services, you can directly show it to your client that what sort of part of work or any kind of a milestones you achieved. So that part we will definitely cover in the consecutive other webinars. So far, I have created around 98 sessions, and being a part of Transurf, my subscription plan is beginner. So the next part is map session. As I said, many of the attendees are from the geospatial industry. So you have projects on your desktop software. So here we have a map sessions where you can add your vector or raster layers. This is a data tab. where you can add or remove layers. You can also create groups. You can also add forms to collect the data from the field. This is the project where it will help you to create to get into the field, and you can assign the projects to the relevant surveyors. This is the tab where you can upload users in a bulk. Plus, you can also add users in a single way. We have two different categories: analyst and surveyor. So, for analyst, have a capacity to handle only web platform, where surveyor can only work on mobile application. I will not go that much into deep on this part today, because last time more or less we have explained. You can also check our YouTube video where last webinar's video recording is already uploaded. So now coming back to the point, how we are going to create layers, how we are going to create layers, and how we are going to add new attributes in it. So the first of all, I am going to create a line where I have to select line. You can now you can add the attributes as a road name, and you have to select the data type. Road name always has to be in the string. Plus, if you know the length of the road, you can also add it. Length has to be always in a number. So this is how you can add new attributes. You can add ample amount of attributes, and when you want to hide any kind of attribute when you are creating WMS or WFS, you can use this small little I to hide or show on your WMS or WFS. Plus, if you want to remove any attributes which are not necessary in your database, or you want to show it to someone else, you can definitely remove them from here. So I have created one line feature now. Next, I'm going to create one where I am going to, as it is just to show you the capacity of the application, I'm going to randomly put some attributes to show you how the software works. Same way, I'm going to also create a point layer as a landmark. Landmark will be in a string format. It will be a name of the landmark. So this way I've created 3 different layers. Now I'm going to create new map session. I will name it as, I'm going to add layers which I've just created. Point. Now let me add some. So here I have done 3 things. I have added all 3 vector layers. I have also added a base map, which is OpenStreet. We have 3 different varieties. First is blank, complete blank map. You can use inbuilt OSM base map. We have our own Transverse OSM map too. More or less, you can also, if you have any WMS or WFS URL, you can also utilize that, and you can also use that as your base map. Here I have OSM base map, so I'll start directly working on it. So we are based at Panjim. I know bits and pieces of Pengine. So I'm going to show you how to create point and line and polygon layer. So under tools, we have a variety of different tools here. Query tools where you can search through any kind of query. You can also query through any graphics. We have editing tool where you can either add new geometry, which I'm going to do it now, or else in existing layer, I can also edit any information if I want to. On the top of that, we have some advanced tools. So in spatial analysis, we have ample amount of tools present available. And the geometry, we have this many tools. Under grids, we have a hexagonal grid, point grid, square and triangle grids as well. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to create a point and how I can give them an attribute. So the agenda of this particular webinar is to show you the capacity of this application. I have already created one particular session on this particular portal only. So I'll first of all just show you how this exactly how you can create new layers and how you can edit new attributes. But post this, I'm going to show you how exactly you can style them, or the styled version I can show you, right? So this is a landmark. I know it is a bank, or I know it is a Dempo Trade Center. So I'm going to directly keep it up as a Dempo Trade Center. The point has been already created there. There are some restaurants you could see. Now, if I want to create a few more points, there is one dental clinic you could see. So post any kind of editing in the attributes, you have to always approve that. I will show you that process too. If you are not going to approve that, that database will not come under your vector database. So I know the number of floors in this building because this is just next to our office. So I'm going to say as a 8 floors in total. The name of the building is Spikes. I will also create a few more features to show you. Now I'm going to show you how to create a line. As I'm going to create a center line here, so I have to zoom in a little. The road name is MG Road, and the length is almost around 600 meters. I'm going to create one more road. So this way you can create point, line, and polygon features. Now I'm going to show you how these tools, you can approve the data first. If you are not going to approve the data, then it will be again not saved on your database. So here you can approve the data. As you could see, I have created 2 lines, so I have to approve them. You could see if I have to approve them. If I reject it, it will not be accepted in the version and it will be deleted straight away from there. For the polygon, it is the same exercise. I've created 2 different polygons. I'm going to approve it. And for points, I've also created 2 points. So all the accepted features will take little time to come on board, because this database which I've just created, that was just on the front end. Once it is approved, then it will bounce it back, and it will go to the server and it will bounce it back to the front end again. So that will take little time, not more than 20 or 30 seconds. So moving on to that, this is what I've done. If you want to edit any feature which you feel that something is wrong, or if you want to change the name of the building, you can straight away just change the attribute value. It is not just a dental clinic, but the name is HT Dental Clinic. So whatever I've changed just now, it will again come back in a minute, that whether you want to approve this data or not. So yeah, this is how you can create point, line, or a feature. You can have your own base map, you can digitize them. We personally have done so much of work on this particular platform, and we have created so much of big data repositories. So the next part is to show you the advanced tools, how advanced tools work, but I'm not going to use this particular this webinar, this session. I have already created one session. So as you could see, I have created the whole point, line, and polygon layer on this particular platform, where I have some layers, say for example, as a road center line, some landmarks I have created, some building footprints, where I have taken the whole area surrounded next to our office, some building footprints in almost in a blue color, open plots in a green color, and we have given them a style as per the type of the layer. So in point specifically, I want to point it down that you can under categorize style, you can give them the styles, the different icons. So say for example, I have for the bus stop, I have selected this. So this is the bus stop. If you could see, this is the bus stop. I have taken this road center line as a dashed lines. Different sort of icons I have used to make look this map very beautiful. Right. So let's start with the advanced tools. With this advanced tools, I'm going to also explain some use cases, so you can also correlate with your expertise in your industry. So first of all, I am going to start with center of mass. Center of mass needs a polygon layer. It will create a point on each polygon. Once it has created a point layer for the polygon, you could see the complete attribute table on your screen, and there are certain tabs you could see. This one is a permanently, this is temporarily. This means that you can save the layer as a temporarily, so it will be on your front end, it will not be saved on your database. Once I say permanent, it will take little time to load on your server, and it will bounce it back in a minute. So that's why I'm not going to show you that permanently part, but I can show you how I can save it later on. More or less, whatever database is been created, you can also export as a KML shape file, GeoJSON file. CSV, and the file which you can export is compatible with your AutoCAD files too. So now I am going to just export that as a permanent temporary layers. So you could see those blue points. These are the center of mass. In terms of use case, the coordinates of these points can be used for any advanced shortest route analysis, where user need a near to precise distance between 2 points. If you have this kind of precise location, some emergency services can use this kind of location, where how much time it will take, or how much what is the distance between two different points. So for shortest route analysis, you can use that. More or less, if you want to understand, if you have a kind of a property text database, you can convert those premises points or property points in property polygons into points, and you can understand the density of that particular area. You can find out the density of that particular area using the household numbers or house numbers. So this is first tool, a center of mass. A center of mass has been saved as a temporary layer right now. As you could see, it has just saved as a temporary. I can change the symbology, I can change the style whichever way I want to. You could see a green symbol of floppy disk kind of thing. It is on the top. As a You can save it as a permanent layer, but in that case you have to name the layer. So I am going to save it as a center of mass. It will take a little time to load on the database. I'm not going to go in that much detail right now, but yes, you can utilize that particular this kind of layers in your another analysis. You can export these layers from the data tab. The next tool which I'm going to explain, which is again I'm going to use the center of mass data. So let's try one more time the tool. I'm going to run the tool again. So the next tool is Voronoi tool. Voronoi, it shows me the different types of point layers which I have in my database. I'm going to use right now as the temporary layer. So as you could see, it has created a Voronoi polygon. In terms of use case, looking at the scenario where the current situation is going on as the COVID is going on right now. So if we have a COVID test centers, we can create a Voronoi on top of it, where area of Voronoi polygon will show the coverage of the area on the ground. And that way, you can understand the reachability of household to the nearest COVID center. So, say for example, if this is one point of a COVID center, and the population is quite huge here, and there are so many households or residential area here, so we can estimate, not exactly we can think about it, but yes, we can estimate the reachability of this many households to which is closest to their house, the COVID center. So this is a Voronoi tool. The next tool which I am going to show you, the next tool is Convex tool, for which I again need center of mass points. So the next tool is Convex. I'm going to put concavity as a 5. Convex tool does basically, it takes the outer periphery part of the points and it creates a polygon. So let me show you the outcome. I'm going to again save it as a temporary. So as you could see, it has taken the all the outer periphery points, all the points which are outside of the points, right? Looking at the case, kind of a use cases, looking at the use cases, I would say if we take this COVID test centers again, this convex will create a polygon which is connecting all outer periphery points, and it can be assumed that the precise area of coverage which is covered by all the COVID centers. In other case, you can also think of if you have a point cloud data and you want to know the complete area of that particular area, so the coverage area, so you can use this convex tool which gives you the area of interest. Yeah, that is about convex. The next tool which I'm going to talk about is buffer. For buffer, I'm going to use road centerline layer. I'm going to use 20-meter buffer, and for which I am going to select only few road which is just above engine. So using this buffer tool, you can select by a query, or you can select by the graphics which line feature you want to select. So I am going to select this particular road as a 20-meter buffer. You could see it has given me the buffer because this is the main kind of a highway. Here I have also selected a temporary layer. So you could see a buffer polygon. In most of the geospatial industry, we use this buffer tool as creating a polygon where the width of the road is known. In other case, you can also, if you have a location of all the COVID patients and you want to create a kind of micro containment zone, you can use this tool where a dense or nearest buffer polygons need to be merged to create a kind of containment zones. The next tool, which is I'm going to explain, is the simplify tool. But before that, let me just hide this layers which I've just created. The next tool is simplify tool. Simplify tool. Most of the geospatial expertise have used this tool to smoothen the line. So here we have two different tabs: high quality and muted. So there is a tolerance of, you can put between 1 to 10. High quality means there are any sharp turns or curves, it will smoothen out those curves and those turns. If, say for example, in digitization, any kind of distortion has happened or any vertices not been digitized in a proper way, so that you can smoothen out with this too. So let me try with only one line. So you could see this blue straight line. The tolerance I have kept it as a 1. If I keep it more, it will go little extra straight. So and it will also give you the length of the line too. So you can save it as a temporary layer, and which can be saved on your front end. Next tool is basically a cluster k-means, which is the a kind of advanced tools which we normally use during these days for the COVID tests, and how we can, for the analysis of COVID patients or any kind of containment zones. So the next tool is cluster k-means, for which I need a center of mass data. Cluster K means I will create 5 classes. Before I implement this tool, I just want to explain kind of a use case of this cluster K means, that where exactly we are using this tool. So on larger scale, when we talk about district population, and if we have a data and a user want to create clusters based on the range of population. So this cluster k-means tool will distribute data into certain classes. So say for example, the population for each district, it starts, the maximum number is 10 lakhs and minimum number is say for example 3 lakhs. So tool algorithm classify those districts between 3 lakhs and 10 lakhs, and it will create the number of classes, which clusters which you actually want to create. So I'm right now I want only say for example I want only 5 classes. So I will use this tool. You could see I have taken only 5 classes. So the cluster names, cluster numbers, you could see here under this tab. It could be seen where the database the algorithm has given a cluster number to each building point. Later on, you can also do one thing. You can create a kind of a very interesting symbology, and you can show them that under this cluster, you can create a kind of a categorize or graduated symbology for this kind of cluster data, which helps you to understand the density of the population in between the district. The last tool, but not the least, we have so many other tools. We really want all the attendees to experiment these tools and give us their feedback. We would really appreciate your feedback. The last tool is Square Grid. Square Grid, I want the size of the cell is 300. The unit is in meters, and graphics as a polygon selection. So, so it has created some 9 grids, 300 meter by 300 meter. For the use case, I would say I personally use this grid for a data quality check. So if your analyst or surveyor have taken data from the field or created any data on this particular platform, for any admin or project manager can analyze the data on grid base. Most of the geospatial industry expertise are using grid based quality check. More or less, when we go into the field for any kind of property tax survey or household survey or door-to-door survey or any kind of survey, we create these grids and we assign some unique grid ID to it, and we assign those grids to the surveyor. So on the basis of that, we can also monitor each surveyor's tasks, and we can monitor their efficiency too. So this is all about the advanced tools. Now, the last part is to create a WMTS layer. Uh, well, this particular function, most of the geospatial industry guys have used WMS and WMTS layer from the external services provider, and they have integrated or connected with their desktop GIS software. So here I am going to show you. This is one sort of very sample data, simple, very small sample data I have created, where I have Pangeam's raster image, the open plots, some building footprints, road center lines, and landmark. I am going to publish WMTS URL, which I am going to use it in my desktop GIS software. So here you can, I have a QGIS, so I am going to paste this link there. Just name it as a engine and just click on it. It will connect with my database. And as you could see, it directly pops up there. So this kind of services you can utilize to digitize or kind of verify with your customer or with your internal team member as well. And we normally use this kind of services where most of the people are working from home. So if my team is working in a different regions these days, so if there is any kind of quality check I have to do, I do it on the basis of WMTS, that what sort of work they have done. So that's it from my side. We are going to again do another webinar on 30th of July on 11 a.m. And the topic would be to create interactive map styling with spatial data, where we are going to focus only on graduated, categorized, and heat map styles. We are going to also explain how you can create a kind of a database where zoom extent is very necessary, where at one certain zoom level, such sort of only some sort of data is visible, while another zoom level only some points or some lines should be visible. So that we will explain. On the top of that, we are going to also explain or introduce another way of publishing web maps in a different formats. And this is very exciting features, and we are really looking forward all of you to join this webinar. Probably by end of tomorrow, whoever has attended today, you will all get notification from our side to register yourself again for the next webinar. Right then, so if you have any kind of questions, please let us know now, write down in the chat box. We are really happy to help you. If anything else you want to talk about, any kind of a business inquiries, you can always write to us on info@transurf.com. For any kind of feedback regarding this particular platform, you can give us a feedback on feedback@transurf.com. So I am looking forward for your questions, and I'm ready to answer your questions, please.